Hey, I'm Don Copeland. Is there an echo in here? Yeah, I guess there is. So today we're going to show you something a little different to do with the Mutoh XpertJet 461UF. We're going to print on a Amazon Echo Dot. And we're only going to show you how to print on one because these puppies ain't cheap. But I think it's a great opportunity to do some corporate stuff for high-end, let's call it, type of decoration on something that's a little different than a traditional ad specialty. And so we're going to go through. First thing I want to do is I want to take you over. We're going to look in the software and show you how I set this all up to be able to print it out like we're getting ready to do. Okay, let's show you what we did here with the artwork to get this ready to print onto the Echo Dot. What I've done is I went ahead and measured it and created a roughly a 3 1/4 inch circle, which is about the size of the dot itself. Put a 2/200ths of an inch outline on it, and I printed that onto the bed, which I would have done simply by file and print to compress rip. And what we've done is it will select in here that I'm going to tell it to print to the color layer only, okay, for the Mutoh 461, color layer only, selected objects, and in my setup I already had it set up to print up relative to the edge of the sign blank. All right, I've already done that. It's already over at the computer, at the printer, and we've printed that onto the bed. That's how we've done it. So when we come back, what we're going to do, once we set up the logo we want to print, we're going to orient it in this circle and then just send that only, and we now know that they're relative to the same spot on the bed. So if I center this logo up inside of here, it's going to be centered on the circle that's on the actual printer bed, which is assuming that I, in the only analog portion of this, have positioned it in the right place, that it will end up centered on that. So we brought in this logo, and I've ungrouped it, and we have some whites here, and I just want to make sure these whites pop a bit more, because I'm going to send this over to be a, literally to be, let me get those two there first, to be spot whites. I'm going to send an auto white for the underbase, but I want it to pop, so I'm going to grab my spot white. You'll see it'll turn those pink, but what will happen now when I underbase those, it's also going to print them solid white on the top coat layer as well. So I'm going to take this now, group it together, and I took a measurement on the Echo Dot, the Echo itself, and I actually found it about 1 inch is about as much as we can tolerate for size. So I'm going to take the larger dimension, which is the height of that object, change that to 1. All right, we're going to have 0.98 by 1. All right, and I'm going to take and select both of these, the C key and the E key. All right, so now I've centered it up in there. I'm going to select that only, and when I go to print, once again I'm using the compress rip, and I'm going to tell it to print just the selected items, which in this case is the logo, but I want to print it to the 461 auto clear and white right here, all right, which means it's going to take, and from the artwork it's going to generate my automatic underbase. I'm going to say okay. I've told it selected to the rip thing. Now it has been sent over to the rip. Now we can pop back over to the rip and show you what we got going on here. Alrighty, now as you see, it's popped up over here, and what we can do is I want to do this in a fine mode, which is fine. No pun intended, of course. If you think there was no pun intended, you've never seen one of my videos. All right, so we're going to process this now. And this will give us a chance to do a preview and see what we're going to see here. View the raw data. And it's really kind of hard to see here, but we'll zoom in a little bit. And if we turn off these layers, see this, when I preview it in black, that's my white that's going to be shown. That's this underbase, but it's also, as you'll see over here on the right, there is a pink white. That pink white is going to be printing solid in those areas that were pink, which are actually a spot white. All right, so it looks good to me. Get an idea, 1.71 cents worth of ink. No, so we'll go ahead and send this over to the printer. Talk a bit about what that looks like. What would you do this for? Well, number one, we had one sitting around and we said we haven't printed on it, which is just what we do. But number two, this is something you could do for corporate gifts. You know, put a logo. You've got a some kind of event going on, maybe a leadership training, something like that, you can drop those logos right on these and customize them, and something that somebody will keep on their desk and as a keepsake or memory, and it's going to be a great opportunity. Maybe kind of hard to see in here. There you can go. As you zoom in a little bit, you can actually see it's leading with the white, trailing with the color. If you wanted to get a little crazy with this and take advantage of the spaces between the dots for the actual device, you actually could have taken a picture or a scan of this item and use that as your template in your design software to position stuff so that you know exactly where those buttons are and weren't printing over top of the buttons. All right, there we go. So we did a automatic white, automatic clear. As if you look at it, pop that off of there. You can actually see the clear coat over it is beautiful. Hopefully you're being able to pick it up on the camera. But you can see the texture of it even. It's got a little bit of height to it. So that was an inline auto white with a spot color white for a good highlight color and the clear that chased it through. Gave it a great finish. So just another thing you can do with one of your UV printers. This time was on the Mutoh 461. And you know, like I said, the applications for this on something, a nicer item like this, you know, it's not a $5 item, a nicer item you're going to give away to people who have some meaning to you, either as employees, people you're recognizing, or good customers. Really nice decoration, very professional looking. Good way to just show it off a little bit and use the printer in a different way. Like I said, it's right there. This is a genuine, not even a knockoff. So I'm Don Copeland with the Mutoh XpertJet 461UF, printing on Echo Dots today.